No matter how much you want it to happen, there's just no days off from Canadian news or Canadian politics. In today's video, we're going to be covering several things. There's the vote of no confidence, how that turned out, what was said during the vote of no confidence. The Bloc Québécois kind of mocked a little bit of the issue, as well as somebody threatened Pierre Poilievre to a fight. Yeah, that really happened. And then Kevin OLeary has some very truthful things to say about Justin Trudeau, and he's been historically quite vocal about his detest for Justin Trudeau. And then we have an update in the polls. So for all those reasons, I highly encourage you to stick around for the entire video, or for however much you can withstand what's happening in the news. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I want to encourage everyone to smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet already. We are very close. We're a carbon tax away, very, very close to having 400,000 subscribers on this channel. And before we get into it, I do want to encourage everyone to turn on the post notifications once you are subscribed. It's that little bell icon that shows up. It just adds a layer of insurance so you can actually be notified. YouTube historically unsubscribes people and doesn't really send out the proper notifications to people that are subscribed. So having that bell icon turned on does help quite a bit. As well as I want to announce a new channel. So I've got one video that kind of covers the bulk of things that happen on this channel here. One video a day that shows up. And then I have another channel that has just popped up, Mistersunshine Extra. The link will be down in the description or the pinned comment below, so not to worry, it's very easy and to find. And then it's gonna have several videos about kind of ongoing things that happen throughout the day on that channel. Without further ado, let's get into this here. So we've got an update on the polls, just as promised. The Conservatives are actually going up. They were at 210 projected seats the other day. They're at 211 with a baseline of 182 and a high end of 232. They need 170 to win. And then you have 99% likely to win the most seats, as well as 99% likelihood of the Conservative winning a majority. And when you scroll down even further, you have seat projections of potential coalitions. Just the Conservatives alone have 211. Even the Liberals and the Bloc combined, you only have 100 seats. So it really looks just like across the board, the Conservatives are going to just win by a complete annihilation, very big landslide. And I mean, right now we're only really seeing social media engagement, but above and beyond just social media engagement, really validating that claim that the Conservatives are going to win. It's also people that are showing up in real life to do things. Now, obviously you can't vote right now, so we don't have an accurate a rate that we can test that on, but a lot of people are showing up to protest and to rallies for the Conservatives, or to protest or detest or be very vocal about how much they dislike Justin Trudeau everywhere he goes, as well as other Liberal and NDP politicians. So you're not really seeing that for the against the Conservatives. You're not really seeing rallies in the hundreds, thousands, or even in the dozens, or even anyone at all rallying against Pierre Poilievre, which I assume it will try to happen, just like how when the Freedom Convoy happened, there was an anti-protest to the Freedom Convoy, and every time there's these parental rights protests for protecting the kids in Canada, there's like an anti-protest happening, but they're always very small in numbers. So I imagine at one point in the near future, you're going to start to see that, but right now it's nothing really to worry about, and that just comes out of boredom. So I think the Conservatives are looking pretty good across the board. So the Conservatives had a motion recently for a vote of no confidence, and it failed. It failed 204 to 116. So we're just going to take a look at that.
Order. I wish to inform the House that the electronic voting period has ended.
It ended, and they went over the votes, and it wasn't good. So that's kind of the summary there. But here's the interesting thing that happened. When the Bloc voted against the Conservative motion, this is how they acted. That weird taunting, right? Bye-bye. They're waving bye-bye, and they're making fun of it. So it's very bizarre. And in fact, there was a lot of people that voted, like Liberals and NDP, that voted for it, and then they didn't really realize what they were doing, and they changed their vote, and vice versa. They voted against it, and last minute they voted for it. So it's very weird and kind of controversial within the Parliament parties. You have some Liberal MPs that have been very vocal against the carbon tax, and they're being silenced by Justin Trudeau. Trudeau is likely, this is just a hypothesis, right? It's kind of a rumor spreading that Trudeau is threatening people's jobs. If you don't vote for the Liberals and against Conservatives on everything, then you're out of a job. And that's kind of a dictatorship. It's not really a democracy, but I don't know. It's all alleged claims at this point. All right, next up, we have what the F is happening in Canada right now. It's so expensive to live here. Chicken Bacon Ranch from Subway used to be $14. Now it's $18. Who has solutions for this? Justin Trudeau has destroyed the Canadian economy.
Buddy, what the fuck is going on in Canada right now? It is so expensive to live here. What is happening? If I'm in Toronto, and if you want like a good apartment, like in the city, like not like just good apartment, it's fucking $3,000. Who has solutions for this? Instead of, I hear a lot of wah goo goo gaga crying, but who's got the solutions other than just leaving the country, which is fucking seeming like the only option. And groceries, dude, the fucking Chicken Bacon Ranch from Subway used to be 14 bones. Now it's 18 plus tip. Plus tip. Who the fuck you think I am? Plus tip. You don't even get no soda, no cookies, no double chicken with that. Fuck's sakes, buddy. Shit's fucked. And I mean, you fucking, everyone's like, well, move to the States. How? The visas are so, I have a podcast. They don't need me. People are like, oh, immigration's crazy. We're letting too many people in. Can you sneak one more in, fellas? Fuck. Buddy, what?
That kind of summarizes the state of the Canadian economy, man. Everybody is drowning. This is horrible. Every time I go to the grocery store, I've talked about this in the past, I don't get a push cart. I carry the little baskets, and every single time it's $100 minimum. And I'm going quite a few times a week to get snacks for me and my family, for my daughter, juice boxes, milk, eggs, bacon. I mean, gonna have to start cutting back on that, and that's not, we haven't even covered like the proteins, right? So you got hummus, you got veggies, you have meat, you've got potatoes, you've got chicken, like fish. You can't even do that anymore, man. It's ridiculous. And every time you go to the grocery store, you look at your bill and you go, oh my God. And I actually have people that I text my grocery bills with, and it's like, who can have the most amount of things with the least amount of cost? I've got a friend who just paid $28 for 12 mandarin oranges in Canada. That's over $2 per orange, bro. What is going on? It's insane. It's out of control. Oh my goodness. Like, what are we gonna do? You can't eat. You can't pay for food. It's freaking wild. But I'll have to know what you guys think down below in the comments. What's the most expensive thing that you bought at the grocery store? Not like fancy stuff, right? Not just going to Costco and hoarding your cart, but like, what's a singular item that's just so outrageously expensive? If anyone can beat $28 or has a horror story above $28 for 12 mandarin oranges, please let me know down in the comments, because it's unbelievable, man. Anyways, next up, we've got Kevin OLeary, who's got quite a few things to say about Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
It's all part of the strategy. Well, you mentioned policy, so I couldn't wait, Kevin, to bring this up to you, because let's get what people are calling Orwellian online harm bills, courtesy of Justin Trudeau, with the Canadian Prime Minister backing imprisoning people for life over speech crimes and social media safety crackdown. The Online Harms Act, designed to make social media platformers safe, is being slammed as Orwellian and overreach by voters. Some say it's like a page or a scene from Minority Report. I mean, your take on Trudeau's latest here?
I think I've been pretty consistent in my, and I want to choose my words carefully here because I want to be supportive of Canada. I'm a big believer in its potential, and I'll say it again. When you look at the per capita of Canada, 37 million people, and you look at the natural resources the country has, per capita, it's one of the richest countries on earth, run by complete idiots. And there's no other way to put it. You might as well tell the truth. It's so important that Justin Trudeau be thanked for his service and then removed from office. And an election will be coming in the next 18 months. He is the worst manager Canada has ever had. Total incompetency underneath him in the cabinet seats, total incompetency in almost every mandate. Absolutely the worst I've ever seen. The very, very, very worst. And I think the Canadian people are starting to see how horrific this management team is. And it's very important. And listen, he's been a wildly successful politician. But the derivatives you're talking about are part of this complete incompetency of managing Canada's biggest business, Canada itself. This is a totally incompetent government from the top down. The worst managers in the country's history.
I mean, it's very obvious at this point when you have the people that are running the show that say that budgets will balance themselves, and they've since retracted that. But it's still, I mean, that's an insane thing to say when you have the people at the top saying we're going to stop investing in the new construction of roads. I mean, that again is completely insane. And Stephen Guilbeault has since retracted that, saying that's not what he said. But I mean, the video, I believe, is actually him saying we're going to stop investing in roads. It might be in a certain part of the country, but nonetheless, very insane and just self-sabotaging things to say. And those are just the things that they're saying, not even the things that they're doing and the policies that are in place. I mean, recently, didn't Canada just announce that they're going to be tapping into the retirement funds out of people? I mean, there's going to be no pension plans, apparently. I mean, that's an article that I've read. I haven't really looked into it a whole lot yet, but I do plan on making a video. Maybe if somebody has a little bit to say about that, they can let me know down in the comments, and maybe I can quote some of these comments in the upcoming video. But it's borderline insane. It's borderline insane. The cost of rent is unregulated in a lot of places. It's through the roof. People are struggling just on rent alone. Gas as well. People are struggling on gas alone. Even the price of vehicles is absurd. It's absolutely outrageous how much you have to pay for a used vehicle. And it's not because people are trying to gouge. It's just the market. The market here in Canada is through the roof. And we're one of the most expensive places to live in the world. Yet when you look around, are you sitting on a gold throne? I sure am not. So it's very weird that it's become such a very expensive place to live, yet the people, you and I, are not thriving. That seems like a failed state of the economy. And I mean, Mr. Wonderful is quite successful in business. And so if he's saying that things are very mismanaged, it's not exactly to be taken lightly.
Just reminded me, Canadian billionaires Pierre Lassonde and Frank Giustra have been vocal with a huge media campaign urging the Fed, saying they have to force pensions to fund Canadian mining, saying they're more invested in China than in Canada itself. What do you make of that? Should the pension funds be invested in one of Canada's greatest resources, mining?
They can't get anything done. That's the problem. It's not just Canadian pension plans, it's sovereign wealth funds from all around the world. I'm in the business of building data centers because we need data centers all around the world because of the advance of AI. We've only got 8% of what we need. An AI data center is a $3.6 billion project, 100 megawatts. Canada should have at least 5 of them. There are none of them going on right now because you can't get energy permits. That's controlled by Trudeau's government. And so you don't even try. You wouldn't even waste your time trying to go through the regulatory process of getting a permit issued. There's nothing going to happen in Canada till Trudeau's gone. No one is going to risk capital there. You cannot get anything done in Canada. Not in mining, not in data centers, not in anything to do with the federal government. They are the worst managers on earth. They are crippling the Canadian economy with mismanagement. Look at any measure you have during Trudeau's tenure. It just gets worse every single year. It's so important that he be swapped out. It's just the most important thing Canadians can do. They could vote for anybody else and do better. Anybody else.
I think he's come to the realization his time may be limited. I watched a recent interview he did with Radio-Canada where he basically said, you know, it's just been a crazy life for him. That was his quotes. But anywho.
And that's when he also said that he thinks about quitting his job daily, which he should very much consider because we need some new management. And even if we were to swap somebody out, get Trudeau out, put somebody else in, even if that was done yesterday, it's still going to take a very long time. You know, months is an understatement. It could even take years to fix the Canadian economy, but at least the things will be in place. The policies will be set in place. You'll have people advocating for our Canadian economy to get back on track and to thrive. And they gaslight us right now. They're lying to our faces saying inflation is at an all-time low, Mr. Speaker. This is so annoying. The fact that they're screwing us left, right, and center. And then they lie to our faces saying, no, our economy has never been greater. That's not how a leader should work. If the economy is trash, absolute trash, and everybody knows it, the leaders, just to gain an ounce of respect, a gram of respect, would be, yeah, no, our economy is absolutely in the gutter and we are trying to fix it. And we apologize to everybody. And, you know, we could blame everybody, but I think that we need to reevaluate our priorities and get Canada back on track. There you go. That's a simple apology instead of blaming the illegal invasion of Russia, blah, 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 and all of these other things, man. It's so annoying, and Canadians are fed up. And that's why the Liberals are taking in the polls. That's the reason why. But I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you agree with Kevin O'Leary? Do you disagree? If so, why? Next up, we have Pierre Poilievre after declaring a vote of non-confidence, and that was comments following the reading of a secret RCMP report about Canadians revolting. Liberal MP Mark Gerritsen asks Pierre to step outside for calling him a liar. It's a very weird thing. They're allowed to almost engage in threatening type of behavior or language guised under parliamentary privilege. This isn't the first time, I believe, that Mark Gerritsen almost wants to pick a fight with a politician. It's very, another politician. It's very bizarre.
Today, I look at the newspaper headlines. Even the media is noticing how bad things are. A headline in the National Post, and I quote, "Secret RCMP report warns Canadians may revolt once they realize how broke they are." The RCMP has produced a report saying that Canadians are so poor, desperate, and miserable that it may lead to political instability and other turbulence that you could not even have imagined would occur in a first world country 8 years ago. And in the middle of all of this, what does the NDP and this Prime Minister choose? To raise taxes. Raise taxes on food and fuel, on heat and homes. We rise today to vote non-confidence in this NDP Liberal government and to restore the great country that we love based on the common sense of the common people united for our common home.
The Honourable Government Deputy House.
And then there was the vote for no. It's very weird that even you have the feds that are saying, yeah, no, we acknowledge that something very wrong is going on, and Canadians in the masses are super frustrated, and we could expect a lot of retaliation or backlash. Like the RCMP has done an investigation, and whether that's propaganda or whether that's real, who knows, right? I have no particular interest in engaging in any type of actions like that. I hope you don't either. I think that we can vote our way out of this. I think that if we just stay on track culturally, right, as our economy, and we just keep our tensions to ourselves, express it through our democratic right, maybe of protesting legally, right? Because now Canadian government has deemed certain ways of protesting as illegal, which is bizarre, but nonetheless, as long as everything stays legal and on track and with the right motives of just raising more awareness correctly of the corruption of the Liberals, maybe, you know, we need to axe the tax, we need to get rid of the carbon tax, we need, more policies in place that benefit Canadians, not that gouge Canadians through taxes, then I think that we have a real chance of getting ourselves out of this mess. But who knows what kind of tricks the Liberals and the NDP coalition have up their sleeves. And even the Bloc, man, the Bloc it's going to be a three-way coalition. You're going to have all the parties. You're going to have the Green, you're going to have Bloc, you're going to have NDP, you're going to have Liberals all colluding against Conservatives. And even though that might still be a possibility, the Conservatives are still so much more popular that they could actually win even if all of the other parties come together through some sort of coalition. It is insane how much lack of confidence there is right now in our government and in the parties that are promoting these horrible things that are gouging Canadians, such as, I don't know off the top of my head, not only one carbon tax, but a second carbon tax, which is going to increase the original carbon tax amount by 23%. I don't know how we're going to get out of this. This is bad. This is very bad, folks. Every time I go to the grocery store, I just cry. In my mind, not actually, but in my mind, I cry. Sometimes I actually cry myself to sleep. But that's a story for another day. I'd love to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Are you feeling the pinch of the finances here in Canada, or are you thriving? I'd love to know below. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't yet already, as well as I hope you consider visiting that channel that I spoke about at Mr. Sunshine Extra, which is linked down in the comments, the pinned comment, or at the top of the description. I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.